Suicide Squad spoiler talk, that's right. Hopefully you've all seen Suicide Squad by now. If you haven't, go ahead, stick around. Just know I'm gonna ruin the fuck out of the movie for you. Seriously though, this is a spoiler warning. I'm gonna talk about some spoilers in here that I didn't talk about in my spoiler-free review. So I do have a spoiler-free review out there for you if you want to see what I thought about the movie. That said, let's talk some Suicide Squad spoilers here. Versus Suicide Squad, another DC movie that's just completely divisive. I don't know if it's divisive among critics and fans, or fans and fans and critics and critics. Point is, some people like it, some people don't, some people love it, some people hate it.
And granted, there are problems in this movie. I guess that you can say that about any movie. Movies have problems, and whether or not those problems are enough to compromise the entire movie-going experience for someone, that's what really divides moviegoers into two groups, liked it and didn't. Alright, my PSA's done, let's talk about some spoilers and shit. One of the things I liked about the movie, like when I heard Enchantress was gonna be in this movie, I was like, she's not stable. Is she gonna be alright? Is she gonna be on their team? No, not at all. She's actually the bad guy. Yeah, Enchantress sees her moment, she screws over Amanda Waller, she frees her big CGI brother, and now they're gonna build a device to wipe out the world so they can rule it together. I really liked it, the way she's like, Enchantress, and she turns into the Enchantress. I love the first time she did that, she says Enchantress, you see that black hand come under her hand.
Grab her hand and then flip over, now she's the Enchantress. One thing I didn't like about the Enchantress is the way, like, they give her, like, I liked it when she's all, like, Gollum and shit, she's all, like, process. That was really cool, and then her brother helps her out, and then she looks all regal, and you're like, oh, that's what she looked like when people on Earth worshipped her as a goddess. However, she's always moving like this and shit, and you can tell her head is moving differently than her body, so she's like, where is your army? I'll destroy you all.
I'm like, why are you moving? Are you just belly dancing for the fuck of it? She's like, ADD. Trust me, I have ADD. I get it. I can't sit still for shit. I just thought I was the only one. What can I say? I'm just not used to my really sexy enchantresses doing the same thing I do. Yeah, I do that all the time. And her brother's hentai tentacle powers, I just didn't know what it was. I'm fine with a big CGI god slash demigod baddie killing people. I just don't know what the tentacle is. Suicide Squad versus tentacle porn. What else would they fight? But the cameos in this one are pretty cool because, I mean, these people are from different realms of the world, so they're going to be from different cities among the DC universe. So Batman takes out Deadshot at the beginning, and then Captain Boomerang's robbing a bank, and you see Ezra Miller as Flash, which actually looked really cool. And you see Ezra Miller as Flash in that scene, you're like, alright.
I want to see that. The Joker and Harley, although they were a big thing in the movie, the Joker was not. It's just one of those things where Harley was a huge deal in the movie. She's her and Deadshot, it's their movie. But you can't have Harley without having the Joker. You have to have the Joker in a movie that introduces Harley Quinn. Otherwise people are gonna be like, why is she nuts? We didn't get a lot of the Joker. A lot of people ask me like, well, how do you love him? How do you love him? There's only like 3 scenes in the entire movie. I imagine they're gonna have an extended cut that shows a lot more of the Joker, but it's a good introduction marketing wise. So you have this guy taking on the Joker that is immediately following up Heath Ledger's Joker. Granted, they're different Jokers, but you know everyone's gonna compare Jared Leto to Heath Ledger. So at that point, you can have this new guy do a Joker in a movie that doesn't revolve around the Joker, get some feedback, and then the next director, who might actually be Ben Affleck for the Batman standalone movie, might be like, okay, we're gonna fix this and this about the Joker now. There were things I liked, things I didn't like. I like the fact that he is a mobster. I like the fact that he has businesses and shit. Ground out a bit of profit in Gotham, that's cool. Some of his lines were great, some of his lines were not, when he's all like, hunka hunka. I'm like, no. A couple times he reminded me of Jim Carrey, where he's like, he's so intense. I was like, that's Jim Carrey right there. I watched In Living Color. I know that shit. Couple of great moments with the Joker, though, when Harley goes into the acid bath, then Joker turns around, you're like, you just see that he's gonna leave her ass. He's like, alright, playtime's over, she's dead. Then he stops, he's like,
and he rips off his jacket and dives into the acid after her. It's like, dude started to care about her. Granted, he left her ass to die when they crashed into the water and she couldn't swim. My favorite scene with the Joker, though, is when the chopper rolls around and his guy's on the Gatling gun just shredding that roof, and Joker just has a machine gun, he's just shooting and laughing. He's like, come on, baby. And he gets Harley. I was like, yes, that right there was a pretty sweet Joker moment. Have more of those moments the next time we see it. Another thing I liked was El Diablo. I thought he added a lot to the movie. This dude who can clearly incinerate a lot of shit and end a lot of problems for a lot of people, but it's just like, he's passive. He's like, I wiped out my family, I don't want to kill people. I just like it when you have the most powerful one in the entire group who just chooses to be a pacifist, and then he's forced to actually use his powers and he feels like shit for it. I liked that scene where Will Smith's like, I just wanted to get you there. We're good. Right? You can tell he just has this look on his face like, I told you I didn't want to do that.
That's a good part right there. And I didn't touch much on Amanda Waller in my spoiler-free review because I know that there are people out there who don't really know Amanda Waller is a cockbag, so I don't want to say, hey, by the way, Amanda Waller is a villain in the movie. I mean, granted, she's not the villain, she's not a god about to wipe out the world, but she is an asshole. So I wanted to save that for people who might not know that, and Viola Davis played Amanda Waller really well. And that is the scene in my spoiler-free review where I was like, something happens, I just don't think that other person would have dealt with it that way. It's when Amanda Waller, like, kills those 5 people who were working for her, she's like, let's go. And Rick Flag's like, okay, I ain't judging. You can see it as kind of bringing Rick Flag's true nature out. It's like, oh, well, you're actually a dick too. But I just don't see it that way, since for the entire film, Rick Flag has been judging Deadshot for being a murderer. He's like, you're a murderer who takes credit cards. I'm gonna sit around and watch my boss kill those 5 people who probably had families, no big deal. That right there, I was like, well, no. I do see a bit of a wasted opportunity with Killer Croc, where they had to go down and get that bomb and detonate it under the Enchantress's brother and kill him. Killer Croc goes down there and he just gets like, he's fighting these dudes over here, and then this Navy SEAL just detonates it and blows himself up. I think it would have been really cool, since Killer Croc's been treated like an animal, then he became an animal. They established that earlier on in the movie. Ultimately, he's an asshole because people saw him as an asshole. It's just this downward spiral he's in. Would have been great is if he took the bomb and kind of treated it like Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2, where he's like, I will not die a monster, and he saves everybody. It'd be great if Croc did that. Said something like that, pushed the button, blew himself up. It's like, oh shit, Killer Croc.
is a good dude. I mean, I know Killer Croc's not supposed to be a good dude, but since they're humanizing Deadshot, why not? In the end, I was impressed with how this movie did handle a bunch of characters who never got set up. We never got their backstory. Some people may know their backstory, but as the DC cinematic universe goes, we don't know who these people are. I thought flipping the Enchantress and making her the asshole was actually a smart move. Not CGI-wise done the best way they could have done it, but it was still a smart move, character-wise. It's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in this movie, because this summer, let's face it, has been a disappointing-ass summer. Started off great, and then kind of, it's fizzled since. So along comes Suicide Squad, a movie that just has fun with this absurd premise, and had fun with it, had humor where it needed to have humor, had badassery when it needed to have badassery, give us the feels with a couple of characters, made me interested in Jared Leto's Joker, where I rank him ultimately as underneath Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill, and Jack Nicholson's Joker. He's not above those guys, he is below that, but I see potential for him to expand. He was perfectly fine for the catalyst and the tool of Harley Quinn's backstory, which is what he was in Suicide Squad. Alright guys, so Suicide Squad, have you seen it? What did you think about it? What do you think of Jared Leto's Joker? Who's your favorite character in the movie? What do you think of Harley Quinn? What do you think of Deadshot? Do you want to see a sequel? Do you want to see more? Whatever you think of all of it, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.